Hey soldiers, we did the report about a week ago on Nishad Singh. He was the former director of engineering at FTX. We said that it was rumored that he was cooperating with the federal prosecutors, and sure enough, he was and is. FTX co-founder Nishad Singh pleads guilty to fraud charges. So this is going to be another bit of bad news for Sam Bankman Fried. They are really lining up the witnesses against him. Let's get into this. But before we do, go ahead, hit subscribe, become a soldier of finance. Somebody asked me in the comments, will I have to deal with a drill instructor if I become a soldier of finance? I assured them they would not have to deal with that. So go ahead and hit subscribe, become a soldier of finance. And at the end of this video, I want you to weigh in. And I want you to tell me if you think more people at FTX are going to come forward and do deals with the government in order to get lighter sentences. And do you think that's going to be the final straw for old Sam Bankman Fried? Let me know in the comments. FTX co-founder and former director of engineering Nishad Singh pleaded guilty to fraud charges and agreed to cooperate against his former boss, Sam Bankman Fried, making him the third person in the FTX founder's orbit to do so. So we got, what's her name? Caroline Ellison, former CEO of Alameda Research. We've got Gary Wang, who is the former chief technology officer. He did the programming and whatnot. Got him. So we're collecting these witnesses like, you know, G.I. Joe action figures. And now we have Nishad Singh. Mr. Singh, he's 27 years old. Poor guy's not even 30 and he's facing prison time. He pleaded guilty to 6 criminal counts, including conspiring to commit securities and commodities fraud during a hearing on Tuesday in federal court in Manhattan. This is a quote from him. "I'm unbelievably sorry for my role in all of this and the harm that it has caused," unquote. He told U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan. Now look, when I say poor guy, I'm being facetious, okay? You had to know that something was amiss. These people, mind you, they lacked experience, but look, they were pretty bright, okay, in terms of being able to understand right from wrong. You knew you were doing wrong, okay? And you knew you should have gotten out of there and blown the whistle a long time ago. So I bet he is unbelievably sorry because his life is about to change. He's only 27, had the world at his fingertips. And I bet you, at the end of the day, they're going to prohibit him from doing anything related to work in the financial field. Mr. Singh said that in mid-2022, he learned that Mr. Bankman Fried's crypto investment firm, Alameda Research, was borrowing FTX customer funds. Okay, so he learned that mid-2022. By September 2022, Alameda was no longer able to repay the billions of dollars it had taken from FTX, Mr. Singh said. He said that at the direction of Mr. Bankman Fried, he, Singh, falsified FTX's revenues to make the company more appealing to investors. "I had a strong belief that he would not share FTX's full financial condition," Mr. Singh said of Mr. Bankman Fried. Wow. So again, we got these young people who are more susceptible to peer pressure because what he should have done is when he found out about this, he says he learned in mid-2022, that's the point where he should have opted out and sought out a federal authority to start saying, hey, let's put the brakes on this. People are losing money. We got to do something here because something's not right. But instead of doing that, he bowed to the pressure from Sam Bankman Fried, and he admits this. This is not an allegation. This is an admission from Mr. Singh. He's saying he falsified FTX's revenues. That's a crime. Mr. Singh also admitted that he made illegal donations to political candidates and political action committees using Alameda funds. So he was out there helping Sam Bankman Fried buy politicians. The contributions were to enhance Mr. Bankman-Fried's and FTX's political influence. Of course, a spokesman for Mr. Bankman-Fried declined to comment. Now, let me tell you what I think is interesting about that. The spokesman, now he's relying on spokespeople, okay? He was doing all of his talking up front, Sam Bankman-Fried. Now he's clamming up, okay? Because I think he understands the writing on the wall. Mr. Singh's cooperation is likely to bolster the prosecutor's case against Sam Bankman-Fried, whose trial is scheduled for October. Mr. Bankman-Fried in December was arrested and extradited from the Bahamas on fraud and conspiracy charges related to the implosion of FTX. And of course, these are allegations against Sam Bankman-Fried. As far as the courts are concerned, he is innocent until proven guilty. So they've got to prove their case. Let's see if they can do it. It's looking, well, things are looking up for the prosecution, I would say. Last week, prosecutors unveiled a new indictment. We did a report about that. They tacked on 12 more charges in addition to the 8 he already had. Prosecutors said that Mr. Bankman-Fried stole billions of dollars of FTX customer funds in addition to misleading investors and lenders. And the other aspect of this is the campaign finance violations that the government is also alleging. We're going to do a separate report on that because that's pretty deep in and of itself. Mr. Bankman-Fried has pleaded not guilty. As I said, these are allegations. He's denied committing fraud and stealing customer funds. So it appears as though he wants you to believe that Singh, Wang, Ellison, and maybe others, they were all doing this behind his back. So what he's trying to do is say, hey, I was stupid. I wasn't a good CEO, but I am not a criminal. Under the terms of Mr. Singh's plea agreement, he is required to testify at any trial if federal prosecutors request that he do so. In parallel actions. Now, okay, let's stop right there because this is kind of the area where we were talking about with Caroline Ellison, where she wasn't cooperating with the bankruptcy courts. We'll look into that and see if she's changed her stance on that. But they specifically say here that Singh is required to testify at any trial related to this. So there are other trials coming up. There's not just the criminal aspect of this, but the SEC is levying different types of charges as well. So it's going to be a while before Mr. Singh is finished testifying, I would say. In parallel actions, the SEC and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission on Tuesday, okay, here we go, filed civil fraud lawsuits against Mr. Singh. Now, I wonder how that's going to work out. If he's pleading guilty here in the criminal part of this, how's that going to work in the civil fraud part in those lawsuits? If we got any attorneys out there, or barristers, if you're from the UK, weigh in. Let me know what you think. Mr. Singh created software code that allowed FTX customer funds to be diverted to Alameda, and he knew Mr. Bankman-Fried was improperly using such funds for venture investments and other purposes. This is according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In September and October, despite knowing about the shakiness of FTX and Alameda's finances, Mr. Singh withdrew about $6 million from FTX for personal use, including the purchase of a house and charitable donations, the SEC alleged in its suit. So that poor charity, I bet you they'll be required to give that money back. So that's really going to come back to bite them. I don't know if charities have to do what we have to do in the financial services business and in the real estate business. Those are the two businesses my family operates in. And we have to source funds. You just can't come with a suitcase full of money and say, I want to buy this house or I want to invest in this, that, or the other. That money has to be sourced. Charities might want to start looking at doing that if they're not already doing it. The SEC said that Mr. Singh has agreed to a settlement. This is subject to court approval, under which he would be barred from serving as an officer or director of a public company and pay a penalty, the size of which has yet to be determined. Similarly, the CFTC, or the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, said Mr. Singh wasn't contesting its claims. So it looks like he's on full cooperation mode with the government. Mr. Singh's lawyers said that their client would do everything he could to make things right for the FTX victims. Mr. Singh's plea follows similar admissions in December by former Alameda chief executive Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang, FTX's former chief technology officer. Both pleaded guilty to fraud offenses and are cooperating. All right, Bankman Fried and Singh both used their crypto wealth to become political mega donors. We got the receipts. People received money. This isn't an allegation. It's a reality. They showered millions of dollars on candidates last year. Political action committees also got some of the money as well. Democratic Party, we got Republican politicians as well. Let's call a spade, okay? In many respects, the Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same dirty bird, the Lexington Market pigeon. And if you are from Baltimore, I tell you, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, a Lexington Market pigeon is the dirtiest of birds. Last week's new indictment of Mr. Bankman Fried, while not identifying Mr. Singh by name, alleged he took part in a straw donor scheme to funnel money to left-leaning candidates and causes that Mr. Bankman Fried didn't want connected to his own name. Another FTX executive backed conservative candidates as part of the scheme, aimed at winning influence in Washington. So they were trying to cover all bases. And of course, that's something that businesses do. Big businesses do this all the time. They give to both sides of the aisle because they want, influence no matter what happens. So this is what's going on as of right now. As I always say, we do a lot of reporting here, not just on this FTX scandal, but on a variety of things. So I want you to take a look at this report that we did that's talking about the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, and how they've declared war from an international standpoint on crypto. Are they just threatened by this, or are they going to win this battle and shut crypto down? You decide. Watch the video, guys. I'll talk to you soon.